Okay, so now I'll go through the new geofencing feature. You can access the geofencing dashboard by clicking on the geofencing button in the top left bar. So you'll be greeted with a list of locations on your left, as well as a map for better visualization of your locations. So we'll start by creating a new location by clicking on the new button. Now you can search for example, you can search for Botanic Garden. You can name it Garden. As well, we can change our radius. So maybe we can change it to 300 meters. And you can create. So now I'll go through the upload feature, which allows you to upload multiple locations at once. So this is how an example spreadsheet will look like. So you have the ArcLab ID column, you have the name column, address, radius, groups, latitude, and longitude. So the ArcLab ID is used for our internal identifier for your locations. The name is used to specify the name of the location, and the address is used for us to interpolate any location into the latitude and longitude of the location. And we also have the radius, which specify how large of the geofencing restriction to have on that location. And the latitude and longitude is what we'll mainly use to put the location onto our map. So we have the green entries, which are new locations that we're trying to add, and the orange entries are minor modifications we're making to existing locations. So the red row is actually a deletion. So we're making a deletion of this location. So we can just remove all of the cells and keep the ArcLab ID intact so that we know that we are performing a deletion. So now going back to our geofencing dashboard, we can see that Bedok Mall is slightly off the correct location. So we are using the upload feature to make this minor adjustment such that it's placed in the correct location. So we click on the upload to find our Excel spreadsheet. And as you can see that we are simply making a modification in terms of the address for Bedok Mall, and we are keeping the latitude and longitude the same. So this means that even if you don't make any changes to the latitude or longitude, and you just make a modification to the address, it will update the location of the location that you want. So we have this removal. So this location is being deleted as previously mentioned by the red row. And we have the two new locations being added. You can see that we don't have any latitude and longitude for those locations, but it's okay. We have the address, so we can extract this data into longitude and latitude so that we can place it onto our map. So we have the name modification and radius modification, as well as the latitude, longitude, direct modifications. So we click on confirm, and you can see that the Bedok Mall has been shifted to the new location. Now we'll move on to the groups. So groups is a way for you to manage multiple locations at once. So it can be either by regions. So for example, you have west outlets, you have the central outlets, or you can group them by brands if you have multiple brands under your company. So we'll go. So we already have some groups that have already been created. So we can click on one of the central outlets. So to add locations into a group, you can simply click on the map and they'll be added into the group. Click on save. And as you can see that I've added these 5 locations into the central outlets group. And likewise for the west outlets. So maybe instead of this time, we can click on the out locations button, and this will bring up a list of locations, and we can click on the individual locations in the list. Click on done and click on save, and these 3 locations have been added to the new group. Now I will show how you would enable the geofencing setting for a particular module. So you can go back to your dashboard where you can click on the edit project. At the top right hand corner, you have this map marker icon. You can click on the access geofencing settings. So you can either add that by location or by groups. So you can either add the West Outlets group, or you can add individual locations individually. So for example, I want to add the PLQ outlet. So we can also specify the custom error message when the learner is not at the location. So for example, I can say that please only access this module on the page. And click on save changes and publish it. So this is what your learners will be seeing for a geofencing enabled module. So they'll have to enable GPS location as well as location set permissions. So they will click on proceed. And they'll be greeted with an error message, which says that please only access this module from the workplace. So this is the error case. So if we enable our current location, which is at the HQ office, we add it to our locations for this particular module, save changes. And as you can see, we have successfully entered the module, and we know that this geofencing works for only locations where they have been added to the geofencing settings of a particular module.